All right, let's get after it with a couple true American hot dog mashing heroes, Joey Chestnut and Michelle Lesco, the favorites this weekend on the men's and women's side at the Nathan's famous July 4th hot dog eating contest. So, Michelle, I'll start with you here. You've had a couple second place finishes in this event the past few years. And Joey, we know what an unstoppable force of nature you are. But Michelle, how are you feeling entering this contest right now? We know what a big stage this is.
Yeah, I'm feeling cautiously optimistic because it's been 2 years since some of my main competitors have been at that table. So it's hard to know behind the scenes what they've been doing with the last 2 years and whether they've got their numbers up a lot higher than they were most recently. So cautiously optimistic. I like to say it's mine for the losing because when all said and done, I should come out victorious this year. And if I don't, it is entirely my fault. So It's on me. It's a lot of pressure for myself, but I like to think I do pretty well under pressure usually. So.
Yeah, Joey, you seem to be a guy who does pretty well under pressure as well. Like, where is your head at? Because I know talking to you, Joey, ahead of the last couple events here, like you're still out to prove you are the best.
Yeah, I still love this. I love this contest. I love hot dogs. So as much as many times as I'm champion, I still get nervous, and I'm out there. I have some good competitors. Jeff Esper, Darren Breeden, these guys, they've beaten me in the past, but like I said, I love this contest, and I'm not even if even if I have a bad day, I'm gonna grind, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to put out a big enough number to win, a high enough number to win.
I love hot dogs. Yes, go ahead, Michelle.
I would kill for a Joey Chestnut bad day at Nathan's. Just throwing out there. No, not for him to have a bad day. If I could have a bad day in Joey Chestnut standards, that would be like, holy cow, a dream to me. So throw some of that my way, Joey.
No, I go out there and I'm going to tell everybody, every eater, let's all do a personal best, and I'm going to make them agree with me. But they all know that my personal best is going to be way more than theirs.
I love the confidence, man. You're bringing up the competition, which I'm sure stiffer competition definitely, kicked you into another gear as well. But the "I love hot dogs" quote is like the most Joey Chestnut quote ever. So going off of what you just said, though, Joey, are you confident? How confident are you that you'll break your 75 hot dog world record just set last year?
I mean, all right. Well, here's another quick quote. I love America, and 4th of July is my favorite holiday, and I'm going to push it. And I'm going to do whatever it takes. And there's no doubt that I'm those last couple of minutes, I'm not hold back. I'm going to be pushing hard, and I'm going for a record.
So, Michelle, like the combination of America and this delicious meat, I mean, does it motivate you as well here?
I'm not a huge fan of hot dogs in general because normally, like in Arizona, you can't get natural casing dogs. So I grew up on really terrible hot dogs. But Nathan's hot dogs, I will eat them all day long. I love them. And my boyfriend's kids are the same way. They tell me all the time, oh, we don't like hot dogs. We don't like hot dogs. But they're finishing up every single leftover Nathan's dog from any practice I've ever had. So they're good hot dogs. I'm excited to be there. I'm excited to like get the real thing here at Coney Island. And 4th of July is like the best time.
Hell yeah.
The best time in New York on 4th of July eating hot dogs. Can't beat it.
I remember telling Joey once before that every once in a while as a snack, I'll just take a hot dog out of the fridge without even warming it up and put it in a bun and just eat it like a cold hot dog. And he thought I was an absolute psychopath for that.
I remember that. That's everybody has their own way to eat a hot dog. And that's the first time I was thinking back as a kid, I would eat a cold hot dog, but I wouldn't put it in a bun though.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you were even crazier than I am as an adult. Yeah. So you as a kid is the same as like me as an adult. That's great. That's
You're all
good
just
to know.
foraging for hot dogs in the pantry. Okay.
Michelle, what would it mean to you to take down Miki Sudo's record of 48 and a half? Like, did she set that just last year as well? It was a record breaking year on both sides.
Yeah, and Mickey is a beast, and I have had the pleasure to train with her in my backyard and in my house, and she's got some techniques that I'm definitely stealing this year, honestly. Um, Knowing like what she does and talking through it with her and like what works, I'm stealing some Mickey moves, so look out for those on the 4th of
Okay.
July for sure.
Are you able to kind of take us inside that? Maybe what moves that is, or is that's a top secret?
Oh,
That's
that's
top secret
confidential for
information.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
All right.
confidential, but you'll see it. You'll know it when
All
you
right.
see it.
It involves
Joey, Joey, has there ever been a time where like you're picking up tips or pointers by just observing, like in any contest, like looking at your competitors?
Oh yeah, every like hot dogs. I've been doing it for so long. I think I've figured it out. But for like other contests, new foods. I remember for the DraftKings contest where we did candy. Matt Stoney, he was using thick water. The water and everybody was having a hard time swallowing some of those items. And that guy, he figured out that the thick water helps you swallow stuff that doesn't want to go down. So you have to sometimes you have to swallow your pride and watch what other people are doing, and it's just being if you're not willing to adapt, you're going to be left behind. So I definitely look at other people's technique with hot dogs. Who knows? This year could be rainy, and we haven't had a year in a long time with wet buns, if the buns are already wet before the contest starts, it might change the way we go about dunking, because if you try to dunk a wet bun, it'll fall apart, and then you're going to have deductions. So I'm a little bit worried about that this year, and if some eater might decide, hey, they're not dunking, and just go with the straight no dunking method. So well, this year might be a little bit different on the 4th of July. So we'll see what happens.
Michelle, how much does weather impact your strategy?
Oh, it does a lot. So I like to, whenever possible, train in the worst possible conditions I can find. So I've been outside in my yard in 105-degree, Tucson weather. I've worked with buns that I left out on the counter for a couple hours because sometimes they get just real dry real fast. But humidity is something you can't really duplicate. So that's the killing point for me, is knowing, if it's going to be hot and humid, how do you have to adjust your water temperature so that you don't overheat? So it's hard to adjust for weather that you don't see in the state that you're in. But I think that between practicing, different techniques and strategies during different conditions, you just make yourself more adaptable, and that's what it's all about.
I would love to be one of your neighbors who kind of just looks out the window one day and then like sees you in the backyard, like 110-degree heat, just stuffing your face with hot dogs and buns.
They all think I know it.
Joey, what about fans being back this year? How does that impact the contest? It's so different compared to what you guys were doing last year.
Oh my God, last year was just goofy, weird. It was so strange being able to hear the guys next to me burping and chewing, and hearing myself burp. Even during practice, I have music on so that I don't hear myself. But so last year was weird, and it'll be awesome to hear people yelling and pushing me. That's one of my favorite things about competitive eating. I'm a big boy. I love to eat, and before I got into competitive eating, I was always ashamed of it. And once I was able to eat on stage and have people, I was like, it was like, this is who I am. And having people encouraging me and pushing me is something I love, and it's great that it's going on this year.
Michelle, this is the crown jewel of competitive eating that we're talking about here. For you, what makes it so special? I know we talked about a little bit earlier, it takes one of America's greatest foods on like America's birthday. Anything else?
I mean, it's the big show. It's the biggest event of the year in Major League Eating. And it's always the dream. Is when people get into competitive eating, that's the goal, is take down Mickey Sudo, take down Joey Chestnut, win that pink belt or the mustard belt. And it's within reach right now, and it's scary, and it's real, and it's nerve-wracking to know that it's doable, but I have to absolutely bring it. So it's good pressure, but it's pressure, and I just hope for a personal best, because on the day of a contest, if you do your personal best, you can't be mad like with anything else that happens in the results, because you gave it your all. And if you don't hit a personal best, that's when you really leave the table kind of upset with yourself. So I don't want to have one of those days, but it's a big deal. And I don't know if I would cry, but I might cry if I win it.
Let it out. Let it flow. Joey's a super emotional guy. We see the tears flowing like nonstop. How did you get into this,
it looks
Michelle?
Like sweat, but here.
Yeah, that's right. He tells you it's sweat. Yeah, how did you get into competitive eating?
So it was on and it's weird because like most people follow competitive eating before they get into it, and I got pushed in because I'm a jerk, and I ate this burger challenge that my guy friends chickened out on, and so from there it led to, oh, you got to go try this thing, and they had Nathan's qualifiers in Tempe, and so they're like, go try it, and I'm like, it's an hour and a half from my house, I'm curious to see how I would do. And so I came out to Coney Island the first year, barely knowing who anyone was. I think I did a quick Google search, so I kind of knew a couple of the names. Of course, I think I knew Joey's, but then, you just have to smile and nod when everyone's like, oh yeah, I'm so-and-so, confident that you know them. And I'm just like, oh, nice to meet you. Finally, don't know who you are, but that's cool. But yeah, so I fell into it. And then a year later, I'm training and pushing a lot harder, because you get to the table and you're like, this is a serious competition. I was thinking it was this weird thing, but like, you don't want to lose. If you're a competitive person, you're gonna work hard and you're gonna make it happen. So Joe, I left the first year with a lot more respect for all those guys than I kind of entered with.
Joey, when did you first realize that like Michelle was going to be someone, especially on the women's side, who was going to make noise and who was going to turn heads?
Oh, I think years ago she beat me in a rib eating contest, and we were in Chicago, and she's just a big eater, and she's that's the story. Like some people, I do get lazy in some contests, and that's not taking anything away from her. She can really eat, and she's any of those girls who women she's competing against, even Mickey, she's beaten Mickey before. So Michelle, this is not, I mean, she's a great eater, and if she wins, she definitely deserves it.
All right, Michelle, so that's nice. You have that on your LinkedIn page already, that you've beaten a couple of the GOATs in the sport.
Yeah, believe me, those were crazy celebration days afterwards. But Joey doesn't give himself enough credit. He says he gets lazy, but the fact is he trains really hard, but sometimes those contests, that one totally threw us a curveball. Different types of rib, different meat, like different animal, different style of cut, like. So when you're training super hard for one thing and they throw you a curveball, sometimes it's just like, you take that first minute to figure out what's happening and hope that no one figures it out before you, is what it comes down to sometimes.
Yeah, Joey, like, don't sell yourself short here, man. Like you're not at the end of your career by any means. I mean, 13 career Nathan's titles. That's Tom Brady and Michael Jordan. They have 13 titles combined here. Are you at the point, Joey, where you can kind of put all of your chowing champion accomplishments in perspective?
Oh my God. It's in perspective. I still love it. And it's crazy. I've been doing it for 16 years. It's like I over and over, like I've been doing a ton of media recently, and they're like, oh, are you going to hang it up because you've been winning so much? I was like, oh, I'm as long as I'm healthy, you can count me in. This is something, there's no better feeling than doing something you love and then getting to beat the heck out of people. I'm in it, and I love where it's been able to take me. It's taken me all around the world, and I've been able to eat tons of great food, literally tons, and I'm gonna keep going.
Yes. Do you look at yourself as almost like a Tom Brady of the sport, where you will continue to go and go and go until Father Time actually pulls a dub against you?
And if I start to slow down, yeah, it's that's one thing. But eventually, some stud is going to come along, some hungry guy or girl, and just going to dominate. And then that's time. That'll be the time when I hand the torch over, and 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 then it's time to walk away. But I'm going to make them earn it.
Okay. So we're nowhere close to that. Joey Chestnut's nowhere close to walking away.
Oh, I don't see it. I can't. You never know what's going to happen, but I feel like I'm still hungry.
Michelle, one cool thing about you too is you were also MLE's humanitarian of the year. You're doing a lot of work with the youth of Arizona and helping to provide clean water around the world. So what's it like kind of balancing the competitive eating, but also giving so much back to the community and the world?
They work hands in hand, because without the charity water thing, it would be so much harder for me to get my butt in gear each year. It's it's a hard thing to sit at your kitchen table and cook up a ton of hot dogs and just eat there with no one around. So despite the fact that it kind of gives away a little bit of my hands, filming so many practices throughout the year, it really does help motivate me to like keep going through the whole 10 minutes. Because otherwise, that first minute in, you're like, what am I even doing? Like Joey has it down. He's got people to scream at him while he's doing the practices. So he's got more of that feel, but me alone in the kitchen, without that motivation of like, hey, you got to do this. People just donated hundreds of dollars for charity water. We're helping this many people get clean water for life. Like, eat the stupid hot dogs, girl. So, so it's been great for me. And over the years, I think we've raised like, I haven't looked in a while, but probably close to $20,000 for charity water, and other charities. So it's been pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's sick. And Joey, I feel like you just as much as everyone else, realize how important it is for MLE eaters to kind of get back to their fans and communities. Like I see the pictures all the time. People taking pictures with you. Like, how important that is, don't you?
I think, one of the best things is the people who are into competitive eating and follow us, they love food. They're not the ones who they're not vegans. The people who recognize us, they love to eat, and they're happy people. And the whole idea that I get to make people happy through eating, it's always great, and it's great to meet the people who love to eat and who follow us.
All right, final question here for both of you guys. Michelle, you are up first. What is it going to take in order to make sure that at the end of the day you have consumed more hot dogs than your entire competition?
It's going to take for me just to be able to focus. And as a kid who grew up with some pretty massive ADHD, that's always the constant battle of not letting yourself get distracted by this thing, the other, and just focusing in on technique and just making sure that you're eating the hot dogs the way you're planning to eat them and not just letting other things happen along the way. So a lot of times I'm sitting there just telling myself, do this in my head. Sometimes it's nice to hear it from people in the crowd as well to remind you like what strategies you might not be implementing to their full effect. But for me, with each training I did this year, it was about like really locking in specific things and seeing how they work together in different orders throughout the 10 minutes, because it becomes a marathon, but at the same time, you got to be fully sprinting the whole time. So we'll see how it goes.
I mean, Joey, what about you? Because there's a lot of pressure on you as well, my friend. This is your home away from home. People expect greatness out of you when you step onto that stage.
Yeah, I don't call it pressure. I think it's more support. I think everybody's and a lot of people want to see me make a record, and I don't see that as pressure, because that's what I want to do too. They're not rooting against me. They're giving me motivation, and I'm going to go out there. I'm happy, loose, hungry, and I'm going to be pushing hard. And as long as I'm happy, and I think everything else will fall into place. And hopefully, I can walk away with another title.
That would be great. Yeah, we'd love to see both of you walking away with another title. You're first, Michelle, here. Joey Chestnut, yeah. Michelle, go out there, kick some ass this weekend, and good luck with everything after the competition. Okay.
Thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you.